Is it on? Are you working? Okay, it's working. What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Is everyone excited it's Friday? I certainly am because I don't have school tomorrow. Let's go. Anyways, so today I wanted to talk about the South Carolina. I had such a brain fart. I just came back home like not even 5 minutes ago, but so we're talking about the South Carolina USC game. I am super excited for this game. It's gonna be probably a really good game because two very big powerhouses in the college basketball. I kind of did some research a little bit. I have like this you can't really see it, but I have this paper where I wrote some stats down and other things like that. And I got like let's see what here we got like who's injured, the starting lineup, scoring, shooting, rebounds, just all that fun stuff. I didn't get far with the USC stuff because I ran out of time, so I stopped at blocks. So we're probably gonna look up 90% of this stuff for USC because I'm not really sure. I'm not a really fan of either, so I don't know like everything about them, but I know a little bit about them. I know they're both doing really well this season. South Carolina's 3-0, and let's see, USC's 2-0, which is pretty good. So yeah, I guess we'll get into it. Okay, so for South Carolina, we have they're fourth in the SC. I don't know necessarily enough about the college basketball to know what SC means or like what league is what. I just know about the Big Ten, and I think if I'm correct, yeah, USC is in number third in the Big Ten. I think UConn's number one. I think because they won the national championship last year, so I'm assuming we're assuming 90% of this stuff. I'll look it up when I start screen sharing. But so they're 3-0. South Carolina. That's pretty good. I mean, they probably had a lot of expedition games like Iowa and all other teams because it's the beginning of the season. But we have they're on a 3 winning streak. Like I said yesterday, if you watched it live, I was saying that more of the beginning of the season, not a lot of teams come out like guns blazing until like the middle when they have to actually start getting going for the March Madness. But yeah, I think they've had a lot of expedition games that have gone their way, most likely because the teams aren't like 100% good. You know what I mean? Like we played Evansville, played Evansville, and what's the other team? The U.S. I don't know what University U.S. is, but we won both games, and we played Drake yesterday, 3-0. But I don't know. Drake Hill was a kind of off game, so I don't want to give it to completely as much as I love Iowa, but you know what I mean. So I know some of the injuries for South Carolina because I know Chloe Kitts had her ACL. That's like been going around the college basketball for a long while since she tore it. I know about that, but I don't know about Ashlyn Watkins is recovering from ACL too, and Agat McCare left recent game with injury, but no info like what she hurt yet. So that's kind of like up in the air. I don't like how sometimes colleges don't specifically say what the injury is or what happened. They just say left game or like no injury report. Yeah, I don't like that because then it's up in the air and you don't know really what they're saying. So I kind of looked up 90% of this stuff. I guess our starting lineup's been pretty solid for the past 3 games. We've got Raven Johnson, Tanaya Ladson, Tessa Johnson, Joyce Edwards, and Medina Okot. I don't know how to pronounce some of these last names, but I guess we'll look at the scoring. So some scoring points. I guess I'll look this up because I went onto the website or the South Carolina. I can't spell. Carolina women's basketball. So we're looking up some of this stuff because I don't know how correct my facts are. And I can speak upon certain things and some things I can't because I'm not like an entire USC fan or South Carolina. So we'll see. Mind you, this is like I don't know. I follow Iowa, but like I've been kind of wanting to know more about other teams. Like I love Iowa with all my heart, and they're number one like in everything. But it's good to know some of the other teams. So we're just gonna look up here online because I went on here earlier. Let's see. I found that. Where'd the website go? There it is. Here it is. Okay, so let me screen share this with you guys. Screen share. Okay, so here's the South Carolina website. If anyone's wondering, you can just search up South Carolina women's basketball, and it should show up like the first or second thing. You might have to scroll a little bit because they don't. It's always every time you like search up a basketball team, they always have what the first like game they're having next. So you might have to scroll a bit, but if you want to do this yourself, you can just go type in South Carolina basketball or women's basketball and then just enter. So let's see. So we're going to stats. Now, let's look at some team stats first of all. So scoring points, they've had 273. That's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. That's really good. 273 points, like overall, I'm assuming. And then 91 points per game. I think they must be doing a lot of like early scoring. I haven't watched any of the games yet because either I don't have the network that they're on or I'm not a South Carolina fan either. So I've been trying to watch more basketball. But 31 points per game, that's pretty good, and then 45 point margin. So that means they leave a lot of space for any other team. I feel like I just dropped my pen. But USC game, I feel like there's going to be more of a tighter margin with the scoring because USC scores really well. I've watched a few of their games last year and they were amazing. I'm surprised, but you know what? Something's happened. Let's see. So shooting, we've got see, I don't know what. I guess they've tried two or they made. Okay, see, I'm not 100% sure what this means. But I'm assuming this means they've shot 200 or they've missed 202 points and I think this means they made 102 and then they shot 181. It means something like that. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I don't know what this means. I'm trying to figure that out. But and then we've had the field goal percentages, which is it's decent, 56.4. Per game, 34. That's pretty good, but I feel like there should be more. I don't know. When I'm watching college basketball, like especially women's, I feel like this year there's not as much 3-point making sort of in a way. I don't know. I feel like there's not many shooters that've been making them. So that's probably why this is so low, or where was I? This one's so low. That's probably why it's only at 56. Normally that would be like last year's like 1 something. But I guess it changes. And then 34 is per game. That's pretty low for South Carolina. I feel like they've shot lights out before. So then 3 points attempted. So they made I guess they made 20 out of 42. Holy. Percentage 47, 6.7 3-pointers per game. Wow. And then we have the attempts made, 49 out of 65. Whew. And then the percentages, and then this. So let's look at the opponents have scored significantly less. I mean, look at that, 49 out of 197. That's pretty bad. So it looks like this is like South Carolina's a defensive team this year because look at some of these stats are like, you see how they're not as good as their actual shooting. Like this is good. This is like terrible. So I wonder if South Carolina switched to like a defensive team nowadays. All right, we're going to look at some rebounding. We've got 139 per total, which is pretty good. That's pretty good for a team. Per game's 46.3. So that means they rebound about probably every 2 possessions or something like that. And then the 17.3 margin. So it kind of, I feel like with that, it depends on what the other team's doing. Because if you look at the other team, they're like lower, but they're kind of right there with South Carolina. So it's not like a big margin like what I was seeing up here. So it's not huge, but it's okay. Assists. So I personally think that the assists are probably the most it's been in like a long time because last year they weren't like they were just shooting. I feel like that's what they did a lot. So we've got 56 shot or 56 rebound. No, I can't speak. 56 assists total so far in the 3 games in the season, and we have 18.7 per game. So that's pretty good. And we had 24 assists for their opponents and 8.0 per game for the opponents. So I feel like that they're going to USC should probably rebound more because this isn't far from each other. 18.7 and 8, it is not far from each other at all. Let's look at some turnovers because turnovers definitely like turnovers can what's it called? Turnovers can make the game go completely south because if you're turning over so many times in a game, then you're cooked because you can't turn over every possession or every other possession. Like I saw yesterday in Drake. I don't think I've ever seen Drake like turn over that much. And yes, it was some of Iowa's like deal. They turned it over, but also at the same time, Drake just didn't. They weren't moving the ball a lot. I realized that as I was watching the replay of the game. I'm almost like, okay, Drake wasn't playing to the potential. I feel like yesterday. So let's see, and then we have steals, 18 steals and 6.0 per game, and then 19. See, this is even close. This is way closer than anything I saw earlier. 18 steals for South Carolina, 19 for any other team. And this is 3 points between these two, too. That's crazy. So, I'm looking at this thinking that the opponents are stealing more than anything, which is weird because South Carolina's had a lot of steals last year, but I'm surprised. This is surprising to me. I guess it also is the beginning of the season, so I shouldn't judge it like entirely, but yeah. And then let's go here, blocks. So we have 27, 9.0 per game, and then we have 6. Yeah, that's this is the closest one I've seen. The steals between these two steals, that's the closest. And then this is not. I mean, everything's different, but now I want to look at individual stats. I just want. Should we see the roster first or stats? Let's look at the roster first. Now, mind you, I don't know many of these players. I know some of them because they played like against Iowa and some other teams, but let's see. We have one senior. Yeah, Chloe Kitts is injured. I know that she tore her ACL. That's terrible. Her senior year. She probably is gonna come back on what's it called? Extra year of eligibility. Probably, most likely she will, because she's missing her senior year, unless she's like graduating. But then that would kind of stink. Dawn Stanley. Okay, so I kind of can put the name to the face now because I didn't know who I was talking about earlier. Or when I was like writing down the statistics, I didn't know who I was talking about. I was like, okay, I can't put the name to the face. So it's probably good that I look this up. So next thing I want to see is individual. Okay, so here's the individual standings of the girls, of all of them. So let's see here. I want to see what their total points are together. Minutes, field goal, 3 points, scoring. Okay, so here's the scoring averages between all the girls. So the highest looks like Joyce Edwards, number 8. Let's see. Let's look this up. Joyce Edwards. Okay. Oh, yeah, I've seen her before, yeah. It's coming back a little bit. So, wow. She had the same. She's cooking this year for being 3 games in. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So I was just looking at her between 2025 and 2024. The difference so far is like crazy. She scored 12.7 points overall, and she's at 18.3 already. That's pretty good for only being 4 games in this season. That's really good. And then this is even this 5 rebounds in 2024, 5.7 in 2025. She's improved a lot. If you're looking at like the statistics now, Clemson. They played Clemson? They must have played Clemson. See, I don't watch their games enough to me know, or for me to know, like, oh, they're playing this team or they're playing that team. With Iowa, it's just like that, because I watch them a lot. I gotta, like. Anyways, so we're just gonna let's go back to this screen right here. Okay, so she's the top scorer so far, 18.3 average buckets, which is pretty good. Then we have 16.3, 15.3, 12.3, 8, 7. I'm not going to say it, but you see it. I'm not going to say it, but you see the 6, 7 right there. You can see it. I highlighted it. And then we have 3.7, 3.0, 7. Oh my gosh, 1.7. So that's pretty, I would say overall for a team, that's pretty good. And then we're looking at, now I want to see, okay, overall points 91.0. That's pretty good too. That's really good. Then let's see over here. We've got 3 points. Here we go. So she scores 0% 3-pointers. She has 0.4, 0.6. What is with these 6 7s on here? I swear. 0.467, 0, 5.71, 5.71, 5.5, 0, 0, 1.000. So they're averaging around like the total's 0.476. That's pretty wow. So it's like the team's not a 3-point shooter, or shooters, I should say. Because none of them really have outstanding 3-point shooters except Maddie McDaniel. She's the only one with 1.0 2-point shooters, or 3 points. That's weird because if I remember it correctly, they've always been really good shooters. I guess it must be. Well, this is the beginning of season 2, but this is surprising because I thought this would be up more because South Carolina are shooters. They've been shooters for a while, but I don't know. That's weird. And then we have so they're averaging around. So we have 26. See, I don't know if this means averaging the amount of like points they each have together, because this is points here, and this is average points. So this must be something else. I don't know how to read a stat sheet really well for basketball, but they have some high numbers, which is good. So I want to say they might win tomorrow, but USC's are also a really good team. So let's look up some USC things because I haven't seen that yet. Let's see here. So we're just going to do USC Trojans. So we're just going to look up some statistics real quick. Real quick. We're just going to look up USC women's basketball. Okay, so they're obviously going to show this is going to be the first thing because that's the biggest thing. Where is there it is. So if you're looking this up on your own, you might have to scroll a little bit down because they're not always going to show you the first thing. So let's stop sharing that, and then let's go here and do that. Okay, so let's see. Let's go sports and then basketball. So I know Juju Watkins has an ACL tear, I believe. Yeah, her and Chloe Kitts both have ACL tears. I know that she had hers last year, I think. Yeah, she's been. Oh, she's only a junior. I thought she was older than that. Maybe I just been out of touch. I didn't know she was a junior. I thought she was like a senior, but she's next year. That's good. All right, so let's look at some stats here. Roster. How do I get to stats? I know how to get. How do I get stats here? Here we go. Schedule, news, stats. There it is. Okay, so we're gonna look at team stats first. Okay, so we're going over these stats first. So we're just gonna say scoring points is 156. What was South Carolina's? I feel like I wrote this down. I just don't see. So scoring is 273 for South Carolina. Ooh, that's like, So 273 versus 156, and they have 78 points per game. Ooh, South Carolina has 91 per game. That's not good. And the margin's 45, and that's 20. Why do I feel like USC is? I don't know. They were really good last year, and these were all up higher. But then again, I go back to the thing. It's the beginning of the season. Shouldn't be judging yet because they're not coming out guns of blazing yet. They're still waiting. So we got that. Now let's look at shooting percentage. We're gonna scroll down a little bit. Okay, so this is a little bit different than what I wrote down because they didn't have all this other stuff on here on the South Carolina website. So let's see. So field goal percentages made attempts. So 55 to 55. Wow, that's a really. And then South Carolina had 102 to 181. Wow. I'm like surprised, honestly, with some of these stats. I'm surprised, clearly. Percentage 3.87, and then South Carolina's 5.64. That's not really far away from each other. Only like two more percentages, and this would be perfect. So that's not. They're far away with that. So field goal. I'm trying to read these notes because I don't know why. Field goal per game. So here it is. We have 27.5 for USC, and then we have 6.7. Wow. South Carolina's is down. That's kind of shocking. All right, let's go scroll back down more. We have rebounding. So rebounds for USC is 89. South Carolina is currently 139. Wow. And then per game is 46.3, 44.5. So that's not the rebounds per game aren't that far apart, which is good. That's a good thing because they're both gonna be rebound. I feel like this is gonna be a rebounding game. Rebounds and maybe get it back out to the wing, possibly shoot a three. We're just making assumptions of tomorrow. Margin, so 5.5 here with the rebounds, 17.3 for South Carolina. Wow. Some of these, I'm surprised how far apart some of these numbers are because I thought that USC was, they're good, but I guess not. They're not doing as well as I thought they would be this year. Inside, I'm cheering for USC. Let's just put that out there. Inside, I'm cheering for USC. Will they win? I don't know. South Carolina they've been a powerhouse for years, so we'll see how that goes. So we have total assists, we have 30, and then we have 15.0 per game. For South Carolina, we have 56 and 18.7 per game. Why is that so low? I'm surprised. See, some of these stats are just surprising because they were so good last year. I don't know what happened this year or what's happening. Juju Watkins was the powerhouse of USC, so I can kind of understand that her being gone is like affecting the stat sheet because I've seen a lot of teams go down sometimes in the flames because of certain injuries or certain things that are happening, but I didn't think it would affect it this much because USC is really good. They're usually a really good team, but I don't know what's going on. Turnover 17. That's good. That's low. That's really good. That's low. So I have 17 turnovers, 8.5 per game, and the margin is 12.5. So that's pretty good. Those are pretty good. They're low number stats. They're not like higher numbers. So then we look at the South Carolinas with turnovers. We have 37. That's pretty high. Then we have 12.3 per game. That's so if I'm looking at this right, the per game steals or turnovers are very close to each other. So there could be possibly times where during tomorrow's game that there's a lot of turnovers from just like fumbling the ball because we're looking at 8.5 to 12.3. That's pretty close if you think about it. And then we're looking at I don't have the margin written down for South Carolina because with the South Carolina stat sheets, they didn't give you a lot of information. They gave you like the basics, but they didn't have like the actual in-depth things of what I wanted to see, but that's okay. The assist turnover ratio for South Carolina is 1.5. This is 1.8. Again, really close, which is surprising in a way because I don't know. This is going to be a really good game. I'm excited because these stats are so close to each other and seeing them between USC and South Carolina that I have written down on here, you can just see how close they are. And it's crazy because I feel like this is going to be a turnover steal game maybe. I don't think there's going to be a lot of three-point shooting, if I'm being honest, because their three-point shooting percentages are very, very low, and I'm surprised that they're this low. But hey, sometimes you're on with the steals or the three-point shooters and stuff, and then sometimes you're not. So I get it. So we're looking at the steals now. So from steals for USC, we have 22, and then 11 per game. That's not terrible. It's the 22 is kind of high, but that's predictable sometimes because sometimes you just have a bad time or a game where you just have so many steals that it just stacks up on the stat sheet. But 11.0 for per game is not bad. That's pretty good for the USC. And then we're looking at South Carolina's. They have 27 total steals, and then they have 9.0 per game. Again, really, really, really close. Like I'm surprised. I keep saying I'm surprised how close these are. I'm like genuinely surprised because I thought these would be kind of farther apart, but this also shows how evenly matched this game is going to be. Like how these two teams are so close with even stats, and then them playing against each other is going to be so like I feel like it's going to be a low scoring game because if you're looking at the stats and you're seeing how close they are with the numbers and everything, this is going to be like a hard game. This might be a defensive game instead of offensive. What I think, but I don't know because when USC played Iowa last year, it was a lot of shooting, but mostly defensive and breakaways. So I think that USC is probably going to do a lot of breakaways, and then South Carolina is going to try to steal and shoot. Not a 3-point shooter, but steal and like get 2 points or 1 point from layups. I believe that's how the game's going to go. That's probably how it's going to go because I'm looking at these numbers. I'm just like, wow. Next, the last thing I'm probably going to look at is for this part of the team stats is the blocks. Because blocks are obviously a big part of the game. You're stopping a person from scoring. I mean, that's huge. But we're looking here. So we have 10 total blocks for the South Carolina and 5.0 per game. Or USC. This is for USC. And then for South Carolina, we have 27 blocks, 9.0 per game. So that's why I keep saying this looks defensive. By the amount, even just looking at the blocks, you can see the amount of blocks they have over USC shows that this is just gonna be defensive. Even the steals and the assists, This is going to be more of a stealing, going to the net game more than just shooting 3-pointers all over the place. We might see like a few 3-point shots, but I don't think it's going to be like extreme 3-point shooting over here. So so that's the team stats. I won't look at individual stats because I haven't been watching, but we're just going to look and see here. Stats. I'm in stats, so I need this. Okay. So we're looking at the USC stats right here. And we're going to let me see who this top scorer is. So 3-point percent. Oh, 3-point. I want to look at 3-point percentages first because 3-point percentages for South Carolina aren't good. So for USC we have Jazzy Davison has .188. London, is that how you say her name? I don't want to like mess it up, but I feel like I'm messing it up anyway. Whatever. She has .33. Kennedy Smith has .11. Cara Dunn has 3.33. Diana Mendez has .75. 0.0. She has 0.5, 1.0. That's crazy because these aren't even high. I feel like this is the only high one. This is the only like relatively high one. Wow. Wow. Okay, so let me go back to, we're going to go back here. So we looked over all the stats, and now I'm wondering what type of game this is going to be. So I thought initially it was going to be like a shooting layup game, 3-point game. I'm looking at the stats now. It's not. It's going to be defensive. This game's going to be like strictly defensive. South Carolina looked like a defensive team just based off their rebounds. The rebounds, we have the steals, the turnovers, and the blocks. These are all high. So they're probably going to play a lot of like good defense on USC. And then if you look at USC, they're a shooting team. They're definitely a shooting team. I don't think it's going to be necessarily 3-point shooting a lot tomorrow. It's probably going to be 2 points, maybe a lot of layups. But South Carolina's going to probably play some like good defense against them, which I don't know. I thought South Carolina was always like a shooting team, but I don't think in this recent year they are, because just the stats are surprising. Because last year they were all shooting, and then they had that blowout against. So that blowout against UConn in the last game of the season, national championship game. I think that changed the structure of South Carolina because they got blown out. I'm looking up the score because I don't remember. South Carolina versus. No, where'd it go? Let's put women's basketball. So, yeah, they got blown out. It was, God, that's crazy. So both times they've lost to UConn, which is kind of crazy. So, wow. Whew. I'm looking at both of the games. So I'm looking at the national championship game. They lost 82-59. Then in what is this for? What's this one for? I guess it's just a normal game or normal season game. Let's go back to here. Let me screen share because you can't see what I'm seeing. So I think this is just a normal season game, but both times they lost by 80. Oh my gosh. See, this is okay. So both times they've only scored around 59, 58 points, and UConn scored 82, 80. Okay. So in a way, that's a blowout for being a national championship game, because I think everyone came into that game being like, oh, South Carolina's going to cook UConn. UConn's got nothing on this team, but they got blown out pretty bad. I never expected that to be that much of a margin. Even when I was watching the game, I was like, wow, that's pretty something. So I think that Don Stanley, the coach for South Carolina, probably changed the whole entire structure of it. Because to lose that badly in a national championship game is definitely something. That's like, see, you can't entirely blame the coaches because yes, it's the coaches' fault because they didn't prepare their team enough, but also it could be the players' fault because they could have just not played well. They could have not followed directions. They just could have not had a good game. But at the same time, UConn is a powerhouse, yes, but South Carolina is also equally a powerhouse. They've been a powerhouse for years. I'm saying this as an Iowa fan who we got blown out too. I can't talk anything about the South Carolina game with UConn. We got blown out equally as bad too, so I can't really talk much. But what I can say is South Carolina is a powerhouse. They've been a powerhouse for years. But the UConn game definitely changed them because both times you're seeing this right here, this had to change it all because I never seen South Carolina in all its years have so little like 3-point shooting and scoring versus the like defensive like blocks and turnovers and that stuff. John Stanley definitely did something different because they've been scoring for a while. Even when I was watching them play against for the last 5 years or 6 years, how many ever years it's been, they've been just scoring. But like I said, the UConn game must have changed them national championships, and Don Stanley must have changed the whole entire thing of what they stand by. Now they're defensive, not offensive anymore, which is kind of crazy because I don't know. It's just one of those things where sometimes you have to adjust because USC is a scoring team. Everyone knows USC is a scoring team. So I think that they did this to prepare for like the big games that they have because I haven't even seen their schedule. We're going to look up their schedule next. We're going to look up South Carolina women's basketball schedule. Oh, I got put 2025. They always show like the other schedules when I don't want to see them. I want to see the South Carolina women's basketball schedule, not any other schedule. Okay, so here we go. We're going to screen share this because I want everyone to see. Okay, so here's the schedule. So they're playing USC tomorrow, obviously, and then they're playing Anderson, Okay, so these are games they've already played. So they have had 2 exhibition games, and then they played Grand Canyon University, which I have no idea. I guess that's in Utah, but see, exhibition games I feel like aren't necessarily big wins in my eyes because they're teams that I haven't heard it. Like, I don't know where Anderson is. North Carolina. I know who they are, but I know they're not good for like basketball. I never heard of this team either. So, they played Bowling Green too. Whew. No, they're 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're 5-0 actually. Correct me because I said they were 3-0 last time, and I guess I didn't see the whole entire schedule. So they've had Bowling Green isn't good either. So Clemson and then okay. So here's the actual like rest of the schedule. So they're playing USC tomorrow. They're playing Winthrop. I don't know who the heck that team. Queens. I don't know who that is. Okay, so they're playing Duke. I don't know if the Duke's women team is good. I have zero idea how good they actually are, but if someone could comment if anyone knows how Duke is with their women's basketball. I never watched their women's basketball, so I can't really speak on it, but I don't know. Texas USC or versus Texas or UCLA. So that's a rematch for the Final Four. I don't think South Carolina played UCLA though because UCLA played UConn. But this would be a good game either way. Texas has a good WNBA or W or what am I saying? Women's basketball college. They're pretty good with that. And UCLA, they made it to to what were they, third place last year? They're a good team too. Louisville is a very good team too. I watched a few of their games, but I've mainly watched the games they've been playing with Haley Van Lith, which was how many years ago? But that's like that's Caitlin Clark era too. So I've been watching. That's 3 years ago maybe. They were good with Haley, but I don't know if they're good now. I think they are. I want to say yes, but I don't know. So then we have North NC Central. I don't know who that team is either. Someone please comment if you know any of these teams, because I'm not. Somebody say I haven't even heard of before. And that's just me because I don't. These could be like D2, D3 teams, but I don't know. Then we have Penn State. Penn State women's team. So I can kind of speak on this game because I've seen them, Penn State play in person. I watched them play against Iowa, and they kept it a tight game. They were good defensive, offensive, not really. I feel like South Carolina would probably dominate that game 100%. But Penn State, you can't discount them because if you go up by a certain margin, they will come back like twice as harder and then score more. So we can't really say that this will be a blowout game, but this might be a blowout game. I'm saying might because South Carolina is strong. And then we have USF. So I guess this is a team in Florida. And then we have Florida Gulf Coast University. See, I don't hear 90% of these teams. I know this is in Florida, obviously, because this is Florida. But I don't know how good they are. Okay, so then here comes like the actual good schedule. So we have Providence. Providence, I think, is a good team. I've watched them play UConn a few times, but I remember that it's been kind of a blow because UConn's a whole different story. I don't even want to start on UConn. They're just not even gonna start on there. Alabama. I'm trying to think of like what game I've watched that Alabama has played. I'm trying to think right now. I think they played maybe last night or they played this morning, but either one of those, I don't remember. But I think they're pretty good. I don't know their record, so I can't really speak. Florida, see, I don't even know about Florida because I never seen Florida play. I didn't even know I didn't know they were D1 either. I can't speak like 90% of that I can't even speak on. Texas, good team. Coppin State. That's what I say. Coppin. It's like a country accent. You gotta have the Coppin on it. Coppin State. I never really like watched or seen. Oklahoma. They're an okay team. Vanderbilt. The men's team's good, but I don't know if the women's team's any good. I watched Vanderbilt and who was it? Vanderbilt, Oklahoma. I think it was yesterday. That was a good men's game. Auburn's good. The Auburn's women's team's pretty good. Texas A&M is okay. Tennessee. This is going to be a good game, and this is going to be a good game. These two teams, Tennessee and LSU, those are going to be probably one of my favorite games that are going to be on besides this game tomorrow night. Tennessee is definitely a good team, I would say 100%. They have good qualities as for players. They can shoot. That's what I can say. They can shoot well too. So that's a plus, but that can be a minus for South Carolina. LSU. LSU is a good team, but I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be like a rematch of Final Four, something like that from like 2 years ago. Again, Alabama. I don't know. Ole Miss. I don't know. Let's look up Ole Miss. Ole Miss women's basketball. So they won last game against Southern U. They're 3-0. Oh wow, they're pretty good. So they're 3-0, which is pretty good. Missouri, I don't know about Missouri. And then here's the tournament. There's a NCAA tournament. So I they have a pretty good schedule. They have some easy teams that I think they can just blow by, but you never know nowadays because all these teams just you never know because some of these teams that I never heard of can also do so well against South Carolina. You never know. So I wouldn't say we can discount them. So we're just not going to discount them. We're not going to say anything yet. I'm not saying anything yet. So let's let USC schedule, and then we'll probably hop off, and then I'll be on tomorrow night, probably around 8. I have to see what time I want to start the live because we started at the perfect time for the Iowa game. That was nice because I had some time to chat, some time to talk, and then we got right into the game, so that was kind of nice. So I am debating on what time. Maybe 8:50, 8:50 maybe 8:55 around that time. We're just gonna go off that for now because I'm not sure what time I really want to start. So then let's see. Okay, so obviously South Carolina. They won against New Mexico State, NC State. So South Carolina, which is obviously Portland. I don't know about that. So Notre Dame. Oh god, I'm showing the wrong screen. I'm not even showing the screen that actually has the schedule. Sorry about that. I wasn't even paying attention that wasn't. So, back to what I was saying. Sorry. Portland, see, I don't know. We'll see about Portland. Notre Dame has a pretty good, very good actually, team. They did really well last year. I'm surprised because you don't hear a lot from Notre Dame, but they did really, really well last year. I was thoroughly surprised, but thoroughly happy too, because finally a lower dog team comes up. That's how I felt, which is good. Tennessee Tech. I don't know anything about Tennessee Tech. Pepperdine. What the heck is Pepperdine? I'm looking where Pepperdine University. Oh, it's in California? That's another California university in Malibu. There's so many universities in one state, I swear. Like in Iowa, there's Drake, there's Iowa University, there's Iowa State, there's Northern Iowa, like there's so many for no reason. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's in California. And then Tennessee's obviously Tennessee. St. Mary's. Where is St. Mary's? St. Mary's University. Canada? No, that can't be in Canada. What am I? Minnesota. It's in Minnesota. Ignore me. The first thing that popped up was Canada. I'm like, there's no way that's in Canada. Anyways, they ignore that. Washington. Ooh, UConn. Now this game, UConn versus USC is probably gonna be an amazing game too. I can say that that's probably gonna be a very high scoring game. I watched a little bit of the UConn game on last Saturday. They're still really, really strong, even without Paige, which is good because they don't have to rebuild this year like Iowa did or any other team had to do when they lose players. They kind of just went with what they had with all these stars like Azzy Fudd, KK Arnold. Oh, what's that freshman's name? Or she's a sophomore now. I'm having a brain fart. I see the face, I just can't put the name. Caroline Ducharman, however the heck you say it. I'm looking this up because I know that Sarah Strong, that's her name. Sarah Strong, they all are. I feel Gino just kept what he had when Paige left and just built that together as like a strong base, which is good. But we'll see how that goes because I don't know. Sometimes it can be a strong base in the beginning, then towards the end it can be just terrible. So we'll never know until the season ends. So this will be a game. This is probably a game I'm gonna highlight, probably go live for. USC UConn. Cowboy. Where is Cowboy? How the heck? Poel. I'm saying that so wrong. What? Women's Basketball. So they are based in San Luis, California. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. Then we have California, Nebraska. Nebraska's a good team too. I would say that they definitely have their stuff together with shooting, defensive blocks. They're a good team, I would say. UCLA, that's gonna be a good game too. UCLA, USC, that's gonna be a really good game. And then we have Oregon. I don't know how Oregon is really with women's basketball. I never watched one of Oregon's games. I probably should start watching some of these games because I'm not sure how some of these teams actually play. But Minnesota is a good team. Maryland's a good team. That is a good team. Purdue. I don't know if Purdue's a good team. I'm gonna look this up because I don't know Purdue. Oh, let me put up women's basketball because I don't type it in right. I just put Purdue and they put up the university. So Purdue is 2-1. That's not terrible for the start of the season. So they won 2, lost 1, which is pretty good. So I would say they're decent. I remember watching them a while ago, and they were pretty good. Michigan State is very good. They're no comment on them. They're really good. Michigan's good. Ooh. You guys see that, right? Oh my gosh. Iowa versus USC. That is going to be an amazing game. Oh my god. USC probably wants revenge after what happened when Caitlin Clark had her jersey retired that game. That was the most exciting game that Iowa I've ever watched, probably, besides in the Final Four. I love that game. That game had me stressed out, but also had me happy because we actually won against a really good team because we struggled so bad last year. But so this is probably another game that I'm definitely going to say that's going to be one of the games of the season. For me personally. Rutgers, I don't even know how Rutgers' team is. Rutgers. Women. God, I can't spell. Basketball. So they are currently 3-1. Oh, that's not bad. Not bad. I never seen Rutgers play, so I can't really say, oh, they're good, oh, they're bad, but that's okay. We're playing Northwestern is not good. Illinois, I think I'm not sure. Illinois, I know they beat Iowa last year, but I don't know. Indiana is okay. Wisconsin's pretty good. Ohio State is okay. Penn State is, like I said, I watched them play once when I was at that game against Iowa. They were pretty good, but I don't know. And then UCLA. Ooh, UCLA, that's going to be a good game. So, it looks like USC has a harder schedule. Honestly. It just looks like they have big teams they're playing against. And then South Carolina kind of has, I don't want to say nothing teams, but like little teams littler teams that aren't a lot. Or I don't want to say the word's not good because I never watched them play, so I can't really judge based on never hearing them before. So it's more of like we'll have to wait and see in some of these games because who knows? Maybe this small team can take down big South Carolina. You never know. You never can what I've always watching sports growing up is you can never discount the underdogs. Never discount them because they can always come back and bite you. And then you can't do anything about it. I mean, who knows what could happen? You never know. Everyone always says, "Oh, these big teams can win against this game. These big teams can win against these little teams." But you never know how the tables can turn. A and B, they could just be such big powerhouses. You guys never know about it. So that's why I always say you wait and see before you ever judge. So back to the South Carolina USC game. I don't know. I don't know who I want to win because I'm not either. I don't like either teams. It's not that I don't like that. I just don't support either teams. I don't know how well they've played. I never watched either teams except that one game against Iowa. But um, based on the stats, I'm gonna go with USC. I'm going USC is gonna win this because South Carolina looks like they're gonna be a very, very defensive game, extremely defensive. So I don't know how well defense is going to work because sometimes then your offense is off. So we'll see about like how that goes. So I'm going to go with USC. The score I want to say is going to be probably going to be in the hundreds, maybe even higher. I don't know. I want to say let's do this. Let's go 85 90 85 no 85 90. Let's go that. Yeah, 85-90 sounds pretty good because I feel it's gonna be a good game, gonna be a tight scoring game. So we'll have to see tomorrow night at the game's at 9 o'clock where I live, so it's gonna be a late game. So you guys probably gonna have to be very awake, and it's the weekend, so a lot more people are gonna be awake for the game. So that ends this stream for the day. This was a lot shorter than it was yesterday. Yesterday was like 2 hours or something watching the Iowa game. So we're just gonna see the stream tomorrow. I'll come on around maybe 8:50, 8:55 around there. Have a little time to chat, and then we can watch the game together. So I will see you then. Good night. Everyone have a great sleep. Adios.